Can you hear me now? I get new batteries if I need them. Okay guys, seem to have a few more here today than yesterday. My name is Paul. We're together for the next while on CSC 1029. Yesterday we just had an overview of practical sessions, lecture times and various other administrative things that you've become used to now. We also mentioned in what we were discussing that what we're going to do in OOP is based on the foundation that you set down in the first semester in terms of procedural programming techniques, notion of primitive data, non-primitive data, sequences of statements, selection statements, repetition statements, methods for structuring. We're going to build on top of that. As we mentioned yesterday, we'll emphasize today, all of that will very much still remain important to you. OOP uses all of this, but an additional structure on top of all that called the object. We mentioned yesterday, just by way of general discussion, and really these first three lectures are just general discussion. It's really next week before we get into the hard stuff. No, not hard stuff. Before we get into the curriculum properly, talk generally for a while. Two main features in the definition of any object. Can anybody remember the two words, one beginning with S and one beginning with B, that would be representative of any object, no matter what it is, be it a bank or a table or a chair or a building or a person? State and behavior. State, what does it look like? You use data, primitive and non-primitive data, to describe the state of some object. And alongside that, you must also describe what behavior the object exhibits. For example, the table definition yesterday, very briefly, we looked at a table. Very accurately, got a good description of the state of a table, its dimensions, its color, its width, the number of wheels, whatever else is important to you. And we also looked at primitive behavior. Putting something on the table, taking something off the table. Two behaviors. If state is represented through data, what structure that you all know about now represents behavior? Beginning with the word M. Methods. Behavior is represented through methods. Okay, so methods for behavior and data to represent state. All encapsulated in this thing called an object. And there's a key word you're going to hear a lot of. Encapsulation. Representing something in terms of its object description. That's encapsulating its state and behavior in one package. And the reason why OOP exists is really it's a historical lesson. And historical lesson, if I want to be grammatically correct, in that people like to reason about the entities, the things in their problem solving rather than the iteration or the low-level data or the method structure. They like to talk about the objects. Has anybody done any database technology here? any database, even at A level or in the past, any database work? Show of hands. Quite a few of you. Anybody familiar with the term entity relationship model? ER modeling. Well, now, there's the thing. An entity is another way to describe object. Entity is another word for object. And there are some significant similarities in how databases are described and designed and how objects are represented. They're not totally unrelated. So what we're going to do today, and I've got a clicker and a radio mic, you're on Alright. We're going to talk about the fundamentals, and we're going to do it fairly briefly. Not to put them to bed and leave them behind forever, just to remind you what you've done, and also to make you again aware that all of this will come into play from now on. You will get continuous practice in what you've already learned. None of that is gone. You need it all. So, what's to come today? A very brief look at the procedural programming concepts, program structure, data types, non-primitive data types, sequencing, selection, and iteration, basic I/O. And I'm not going to labour the point here because you see a lot of that last semester. I'm just going to remind you today by way of some formal chat. Fair enough? That's all. Just to remind you what you need to know. And let me give a few examples as well. Alrighty? Ooh! there's an important thing, an introduction to program design. OOP, object-oriented programming, is also a design paradigm, a design tool. Has anybody heard of something called UML before? UML. What does UML stand for? Universal something language. Universal modeling language. Object-oriented programs are expressed in a design sense. It's a chart, by the way, it's a picture using UML. And in many respects, it's not too far away from an ER diagram if anybody's done database. If you haven't done database technology, no disadvantage, it's not a problem. But we will be looking at expressing our OOP designs using UML. It's a chart-based notation that we will use to describe objects before you implement. We need to bring design into what we do. So, what's the purpose of this course? We're not here, and you're not here to become Java programmers. You're misrepresenting us. Oh, we are here to become Java programmers. No, you're not. We do use Java as our development language, but we want to practically examine the fundamental concepts of OOP design and implementation to turn you into programmers, not Java programmers. Programmers in any language. There are many, many, many different languages out there. They all have very similar features. We want to kind of get you away from it has to be a Java solution. Instead of thinking about Java solutions, we want you to think more abstractly in terms of objects, state information, behavior, and when you need a loop, and when you need selection, and when you need a method. If you have experience in Java or any other language, maybe some other new language to do, all you need to do is lean back on your experience and say, well, how was a method done in Java? Surely it can't be much different in Python, or it can't be much different in C++ or C#. They're all very similar. So get away from this idea, I'm becoming a Java programmer. Yes, being a good Java programmer is important, but being a programmer is much more important. Can anybody tell me why? Yeah. Flexibility. You will be put in a situation in the not too distant future when you're out the big bad word of saying, here's a program group, written in language X. Fix the bug. And you go, but I haven't done language X before. What do? You panic? Nope. You go, well, basic structure, identify what makes a selection, what makes a method. Oh yeah, you see the similarities, and off you go. Thereafter, Google's your friend. You understand what I'm saying? So don't be put off by being asked to learn a new language. You don't start at page 1, chapter 1 of any book on a particular language. You don't. You use your previous knowledge of other languages to dive in, and that's how you learn much more rapidly. But design is important. And this aspect. Focus will be on problem solving. How to solve a problem. Now you have your basic tools, procedural programming to provide you, and this extra bit of OOP. We're going to learn to use these together to solve problems. That's essentially it. So, for a big start, many programming languages, there you go. Lots of languages, I'm sure you heard many of them. What do they have in common? Well, primitive data, yeah. Statement sequences, yeah. Selection, decision making, yes. Iteration, loops, yes. Method, yes. And now, objects. They all, most of them, not all of them, share the same features. Know it in one, understand it in one. You don't have to be an initial expert in any new language. You just have to know and reflect on your previous experience and say, well, I know how it's done in Java. Sure, it can't be much different in language X. And trust me, it's not. And you can become much more flexible and much more useful as a programmer or software engineer. So again, the objective, why we are using Java, the objective is not to turn you into Java programming. So, your main aim is this course in your future career. Learn to think and design independently of any language. Yes, Java is important, but try to think independently. Talk about loops, talk about selection, talk about things in general. And look at some other languages when you get a chance. In fact, first few lectures in this, we do introduce a couple of additional examples in maybe Python or C# to show you the similarities. So how do we make a start? So if you are challenged with a problem in design, you've got some issue to solve, being very, very abstract here. Let's suppose you've got some problem, you've got to design it. You get a specification and you want to produce your design. A specification is a description of the problem that you want to solve, and from it you must produce a design. And ultimately you must turn this design through some sort of process into an implemented solution. So, generally speaking, you go from the left to right. Problem spec, produce a design in some notation, take that design and implement it in a language, depending on what you need. And your design will not be specific to Java. In fact, good designs are not specific to any language. They may talk about statement sequences, they may talk about objects, they may talk about selection or decisions, they may talk about repetition. But in general, the idea being that a good design should be implementable in any language that you choose, irrespective. The trouble is, you're asked to implement something in Java. Now, I know you're doing Java, let's suppose it was, say, C#, and you haven't done C# before. What do you do? What do you do? You're in paid 50 grand a year, and that's not unusual. A few years down the line, many of you will be. Pretty quickly too. You give a program, it's got a bug in a loop, it's not a language you're familiar with, and as I said earlier, you gotta ask yourself the question, what do you do? Rely on your previous experience and knowing how it works in one language and translate that into another, and use Google, use examples, and you'll not be far off. So, you do all this. You've done all this, your first program in Java, based on the main method. We're keeping the main method. The main method will not disappear. The main method will still be the starting point for any application that we build in the object-oriented sense. So I'm going to skip through that. We're going to still, oh, by the way, did you realize you've been using objects from probably your first lecture in semester 1? Did you know you've been using objects all along? Anybody realize that? Anybody not realize that? Who's going to be honest and say they didn't realize that? Well, fair enough, yes. There's an object there. Out. Out. Out is an object. It's a print stream object. It has associated with it a behavior called print and take a new line. Print line means print that text and take a new line. You will have used it to death already. You know what it is. Out's an object. It's predefined, you're just using it. Print line is a behavior of that object. With that object called out, that instance of a print stream, there are data elements within it that describe its state. That's kind of hidden from you as a programmer. You don't necessarily need to know all the inner workings of an object to use it. You really need to know, as a programmer, how it behaves. In other words, you need to know what methods to call. That's the other thing. So here's another important notion for you. The notion of information hiding. We use data to describe the state of an object, but not all that information is immediately visible to the user of that object, in other words, the programmer that needs to use it. Some information will be made visible, some information will remain hidden. Some behavior will be made very visible and usable, some will remain internally empty and hidden. Any drivers here? Quite a few. Most people know what cars are. Absolutely. I'll price for a few of them in my time. Car's an object, is it not? Could you describe the state of any car? Could you pick some primitive data elements and describe the state of a car? Yes, you could. Could you tell me the behavior of a car? What can you do with the car? That's another way of considering behavior. What can you do with the car? Change the question about how do you drive a car? What do you touch to drive a car? Come on, shout out. Nice and loud. What do you touch when you drive a car? The obvious answer is the correct one, by the way.
Steering wheel.
Steering wheel. What else? Paddle. What else? Handbrake, return. How many rules? like the donuts, right? Accelerator, clutch, and anything else that enables you to drive the car. Is that the only behavior of a car? Is it? Is there anything going on internally within a car that you don't need to know as a driver? Is there? Well, yes, there is. There's an awful lot going on within the engine of a car in terms of the car's behavior. But to drive a car, do you need to know how the car actually works? No. You just need to know about the behavior that's accessible to you as the user of the car. And that behavior is our public. Publicly accessible. Public's a key word you're going to see a lot. From Friday, maybe even today. That defines the public, usable behavior of an object. Anything that's marked private is for internal use only. Private state information. Private behavior. In other words, the behavior of the internal combustion engine exists. But you don't need to access that to drive the car. You use the steering wheel, the handbrake for the donuts down the company, and whatever else you're doing to drive the car. Now, do you, when you want to accelerate, interact directly with the engine by sticking your hand through the dash and pulling the accelerator cable? Do you? No, you don't. That's hidden from you. That's private, that's internal only. So behavior can have two different aspects. The public behavior that enables programmers to use these objects, the published methods, just like print them. I'm getting a lot out of one line here. There's so much more going on here than you realise. Key aspect, behavior, how, what, where, when, why you can access it, in terms of its accessibility. The public behavior is what you use as a programmer to use an object, but there's so much more that can go on behind the scenes. Just on this car analogy, there's a very important concept here, and it's all about this encapsulation. Encapsulation, as you'll see in time, is, as I mentioned earlier, the representation of the essence of an object. For a car, it's its look, its feel, number of wheels, plus its behavior that's publicly accessible. You encapsulate the essence and hide the information that needs hidden. Hide the access to the engine. The user doesn't need to know how the engine works again. But what does that mean? This has actually a good relationship to OOP. I'm going to highlight this. If through encapsulation you carefully hide what needs hidden, make public that what should be used by the public, can you replace the engine of a car and still be able to drive? Can I have a car? Can I go out and get a mechanic to take the engine out of my car and put it all in? It be better? Hopefully better. Can I still drive it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So the idea here is if you perform encapsulation or describe the public and private components of an object correctly, you can replace one engine with a better one. Does that affect how your users view the object? No, because they still drive the car in the same way. That's a very powerful feature of OOP. You can replace the inner workings of an object for a better implementation. And as long as you don't change the public behavior, your users are none the wiser. They just see a faster car, better donuts. Okay, so I want you to remember that. Code structure, you know about this. You know about main, you know about statements. I'm going to gloss over these. There's your source code. We know about that. We know about public. Oh, there's public class. Here we go, something of interest. You will have known from procedural programming that all the action must be part of some class. And here we have public class, my first program, and here we have a method called main, and within it we have some statements that are executed. Main is the entry point or starting point for any Java application. And from main, things happen. Everything must form part of some class. Here, or in procedural programming, you would have used it as the container or the named container for the methods of your program, one of which would be main. Right or wrong? Sure. Class has another meaning for OOP. The keyword class, and you're going to become very familiar with it, is how we define objects. It has a different use in OOP. You still need this. Everything must be part of some class. But we use the keyword class to describe objects that we wish to create. And we're going to focus on that significantly. So again, there's another use of this we're about to see. Not there with the point, you know all this. Oh, keyword static. Does anybody know what it means right now? I'm not going to have Don't answer. Don't answer. You're about to find out what the keyword static actually means. You're about to find out what the keyword public actually means. The keyword static will probably have been presented to you. All of your methods would be marked static, yes? Any methods that you created in procedural programming would have had static as a keyword marked against it. Static has a very significant meaning for OOP. I want you to put it out. I want to focus on the meanings of these keywords. Class is going to come up. Static is going to come up. Public, the public keyword. There's public class, public static void. What do you think, having had an initial bit of nonsense from me on behavior and usability of an object, what do you think public means? I did mention it. What do you think public means? Very intimidating, come up upstairs. What do you think public means, guys? As opposed to private. Private means, what does private mean in English? What does public mean in English? Think of the English meaning and you're not far wrong. Public means what in English? What's public mean in English? What's public mean? Who can access something that's public? Everybody, yeah? Public means in a mark against data or behavior means accessible by anybody, free for all. What do you think private means? Remember we spoke about an engine as the inner workings of a car? Engines have behavior. Not all behavior should be publicly accessible. So any behavior or data that shouldn't be accessed directly by a user should be marked private. Private's a keyword that will enable you to mark something for internal use only. Okay. So you've seen this slide before in some shape or form. I'm not going to labour the point. You know about main, that's your entry point. You know about lips, for, while, and do. We're just going to examine these in very brief, quick succession before we do something a bit more interesting. So, the basics of asking the user for information and the basics of displaying information on the screen will remain as it is today. Your main input will be via scanner, the keyboard. Your main output for OP will be via the screen, the console. Okay? That's not going to change. You can also use something called J option panes, which allow a little pop-up window for output room, if you like. So, in addition to the console and the scanner, you can use J option panes as well. Now, a word about packages. Well, in Java, the language definition likes to have nice little compartments for different code elements and different objects. These code elements are called packages. A package is nothing other than a container for something, like a box into which you would put some things. It allows you to collect together definitions that are related and perhaps stored in a library for use by other programmers. To use a package, you use the import statement. So you specify a package name and then the class name or object name that you want to use from that package. So a package is kind of like a library structure. And you use an import statement to access it. The easiest way to reconcile yourself with packages is new directory structure on Windows. It's like a directory. Like a package is like a directory that can have things within it. That's the best way of thinking about it. Nothing to worry about. So to use your scanner, it's java.util, and scanner is the object. The package is java.util, and scanner is the exact object you want. Okay, so we'll buzz through that. You know about variable declarations. Variables must have a name, must have a type. I'll race through this. Each type has an associated size, and you have primitives and references to objects. Again, you'll have seen this already. This is a recap. Primitive types we mentioned yesterday. There are 4 integers, 2 for floating point numbers, a character, and a boolean. Anything else is not primitive. Primitive means can't be decomposed or chopped into a smaller component. Anything else, including a string, is an object. Now here's the thing. Let's suppose we have a variable called s of type string. So string s. When you declare string s, it can have one of 2 values in general. They're very generally speaking. Any object reference can have one of 2 values. It can either be something called null or not null. Anybody like to tell me what null means? What is null? N-U-L-L. Anybody seen it before? Alright. Anybody seen null pointer exception? Aye, we've all seen that. Basically, a reference to an object is an indicator of where that object exists in memory. So, I've got, thank goodness, 2 hands and 2 index fingers. I can use these to reference a person. So I'll call this reference left, and I'll call this one right. And with my left hand and my right hand, I can reference a person. So I can say I reference you, so I'm referencing person. Person left, string s, person left, and I, same notion. Another person. Or I could choose to reference no people at all and point to nothing. So when left points at the floor and right points at the floor, it's referencing no people. I have the capability of referencing people, but I may not be. That's what null means. I'm not referencing an object. I'm either referencing an object, somebody, a person, or I'm not. There's no in between. Okay? That's what references are. That's what object references are, to give them their true name. So we're going to see a lot of that. So you know about the 4 types of integer. I'm not going to labour the point too much for you. Byte, short, and long can represent numbers of different sizes. Byte, -128, +127. Short, a different range, all the way up to the biggest and long. Some very big negative number to some very big positive number. Can anybody indicate or tell me why we should have so many different ways of representing integer? Why do this happen? Memory efficiency. Good man. Anybody got a smartwatch? On them? One of these? Anybody got a laptop in front of them? Some have. By the way, you're encouraged to bring your laptop. The resource capability of your laptop far exceed this. Certain devices are even pretty much smaller than this. Very, very, very small indeed. Limited memory, limited resources. You have to be very efficient. You might only be able to work in small bytes of information. But your PC has infinite resources as far as you're concerned. Java exists in many different devices. Some very minuscule, some very big. So sometimes it will call upon you to be very efficient in how you utilize memory. The different representations have different resource requirements. As far as we're concerned, everything's in it. Alright? For instance, we're not going to bother with long strikes or shorts. Just resolve it. Make it simple. Decimal numbers, 2 of them, float, double, not going to label the point. One for a single character, one for true or false. Okay. So, some rules. You need to declare variables in this sort of way. Type first, followed by identifier. So int is the type, year is the identifier. Double is the type, interest is the identifier. Again, double balance. It's the same for objects. String s, string name, type, followed by the identifier. It follows the same pattern as this. Guys, I'm not going to show you these. They're up on canvas. They're just there to manipulate the basic primitive types to get you started. I'm not going to go there. You would have seen this equivalent week 2 there in the first semester. It's just there for you to play with. Non-primitive types. That's your first encounter with a non-primitive type. in a string. So you can have a literal type definition, string name equals Michael. With a given string called name, you can ask it for certain things. So string name is a reference to an object. Objects of behavior. Objects of data associated with it. A given string will have what sort of data will describe the state of the string? Let's get into this mode. Look at state and behavior. Let's look at strings in a different way. What data describes any string? Length. There you go. What else? What other data is in the string? Characters. Okay? That's the state of a string. What behavior does a string have? There's one there. You can get the length of a string by saying name.length, or name is a reference to a string. Length is a behavior. It's a method. It's associated with the behavior of a string object. Does anybody know what char does? Yeah, name.char@0 will give you the first character of the string Michael, which will be a capital M. So name.length would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 characters. What's the indexable range of a string? 0 to what? Length minus 1. It's like an array. It's like an array. No, it's actually organized like an array. Strings are like only arrays. Alright. Just a quick recap on selection. I'm not going to label the point here. Your typical flowchart. This square represents in a flowchart some decision. The question is student mark greater than or equal to 60? It either is or isn't, based on the value of student mark. So if student mark happens to be bigger than or equal to 60, you'll go this way. You might write out the screen the student has passed. Otherwise, do nothing. That's a standard if something's true, perform a statement. There's no else step. So if you wanted to represent in a flowchart an if statement without an else, that's how you do it. You can see here, if it's false, we do nothing, we just get on with the rest of the program, which is what happens with the standard if statement. Fair enough? Don't want to labour the point here. Here's the extension to this, where you have an if and an else component. So the question remains the same. Student mark greater than or equal to 60, we've got what happens if it's true, print out passed. Explicitly now what happens if it's false, print out failed. And either which way you get on with the rest of the program, if you go the true direction or the false direction. You can't go both. Okay? So you've got if and if else, based on some statement. Now just a wee bit of a question for you. Keeping an eye on the time. Student grade bigger than or equal to 60. That is a statement of a certain kind, or it's an expression actually. The drop-through word description is an expression. That is an expression. Anybody give me an idea of what type of expression? There's a word beginning with or that you would use in association with something like that. Can anybody tell me what that word might be? That's some word beginning with or expression. Anybody tell me? This is where your wider knowledge needs to kick in. It's a something expression. Beginning with or. What could that word beginning with or be? The clue is in this symbol. What's that? Greater than or equal to. What sort of operator is that? It's a something operator. It's an or operator. Same word. Anybody heard of the word relational? When you're comparing one thing with another, they're called relational operators, and therefore that's called a relational expression. If statements are based on decisions made with relational expressions, that's it. Just some terminology. Alright. We'll blast our way through this. Here's another way of making decisions in procedural programming using a switch statement, sometimes referred to as a case statement. So based on some variable called day, where day is an integer in this case, what you do in a switch statement is list out all the particular values that you're interested in that day could have, and then say for each particular case what you want done if day happens to equal that case. You've seen case statements before, switch statements? Yes? Okay, good. Did you realise that day doesn't have to be an integer? You don't have to have integers with switch statements. Did you know you can switch with a string? The value of the variable can actually be a string. And you can list out a pile of strings, or characters even. It doesn't have to be just integer. Here's a bit of homework for you. Why don't you find for yourself an example of switch that doesn't switch on an integer? Find an example, go find one. Say, yeah, I didn't know I could do that. I can switch on a character. I can switch on a string. Go find one. Find one. Above and beyond your knowledge of using an integer for a switch. What's break do? Can anybody tell me? What's the purpose of the keyword break? I know it's revision, guys, but we'll get really close. I'm breaking through this. I'm breaking through all over the place to get through this. So we're going to OOP, which I like. It's good fun. What does break do? It breaks out of a loop, but that's not a loop. It breaks out of a switch statement. It terminates the switch statement. Have you ever tried constructing a switch statement using out some break? Will it compile? Yeah. What are the consequences? Guys, another bit of homework for you. Write it down, please. Find an example of a switch somewhere that doesn't have break between each case and find out what the purpose of that would be and what use it would be. And there's new use. Have a look and see. A bit above and beyond what you've seen with the switch statement before. Look that a little bit further. It's not a big heartache. I'm not asking you to do too much here. But usually each case is separated with a break. That's a good clue. I'll let you find out about that. Guys, there's some examples on selection with ifs, if else, and switches available for you on Canvas. Has anybody looked at Canvas yet? You'll see a PDF for the current material, the notes. Plus, you'll see a code section, a zip file that contains .jar files that you can use. So anything that I put up here, and anything that we will do in Eclipse will be made available to you, usually before the lecture, and if not before, immediately after. All right. So, program structuring. This is just some pseudocode. Now, the reason why I've left this slide up is it's important. Have you heard of the word pseudocode before? What does pseudocode mean? Sort of English sort of code. What's the purpose of pseudocode? Yeah. What's the word beginning with D? I mean, what part does it play for something beginning with D that comes before implementation? Design. It's a design code. Guys, we're going to be using a fair bit of pseudocode. That's just a pseudocode for a loop. I don't really care what it does, just to remind you that it exists and it's worth looking into. It's kind of code, kind of English. If you can express your ideas, particularly at method level in pseudocode, you can translate that into the implementation language. So pseudocode is something else that we will use considerably. So what have you got? Lots of homework. Can I remember? I want you to look into a bit of pseudocode. I want you to look at examples of switch statements that don't switch in integers. What else did I say? It's submitting break, what happens? Did I say anything else? All right, so I'm not going to go into loops in any great detail today. You've seen them to death. Oh yeah, by the way, good types of loops. For loop, while loop, do while loop. We quiz for you. When should you use a for loop as opposed to a while loop or a do while loop?
When you know how many actions.
Yeah. When you know in advance how many iterations or times you want to repeat something. If you know in advance that you've got to repeat something even under a controlled variable sense, if you know that, then you should use a for loop. What's the difference between a while loop and a do while loop? What's the minimum number of times of execution of the body of a while loop as opposed to a do while loop? Minimum number of executions of a while loop is what? 0. You use a while loop if you know you want to repeat something 0 or more times. That's when you use a while loop. A do while loop is like an upside down while, and it has how many executions as a minimum? 1. When do you use a do while loop then? If you know you're going to do something at least once. You know, a little menu system with a number of options and a quit. You kind of read the option until the option's not able to quit. You know you're going to read the user input at least once. So maybe a do while loop would be more appropriate there. You get the idea? Here's another quiz question for you. Is it possible to do whatever you want to do with any of the structure? Is it possible? Yes or no? Yes, it is. But it makes more sense programmatically and for efficiency reasons to choose the correct version. That's all I want to say about today. Okay, so we're not going to go through this chart. I want to jump on because we're running out of time. I've got a problem for you. That's just some notes on loops. You can look at that again in your own time. There's how the for loop works. Okay, I'm not going to go through this. Oh, there's a lot there. So you can look at loops if you like. It's just there for complete. This is what I'm getting to. This is where I want to be. Right. I've got a little bit of work for you. So let's start now. We have a chat about it, and you have a little bit of implementing between now and I see you next Friday, this Friday. Okay? A little warm up. You don't have to do it, but I do suggest you try. So what we've got here is a little case study designed to remind you about your procedural programming. So a little program called WordWrap, and it's a procedural program that asks the user to input a word from the keyboard and then uses the console to display the word according to the following pattern. So you have a user prompt that says enter a single word, and if the user types banana, for example, the following output should appear. The following output should appear. Now, what I want you to do is, do we have time? Yeah. With your neighbour, or in groups of 3, or even 4 if you think it's useful, on a piece of paper, write down how you think you can go about this. What's important? What procedure would you use? How would you go about designing this? Okay. Have 2 minutes just to think of that. It doesn't have to be perfect. Have a think. Chat to your neighbour. Express your ideas. See what you think. How would you produce something like this? How would it be done? And no sticky picking ahead to the next slide. How would you do that? So this is a specification in terms of the input and its output. So you have to look at both. So we've got a word, input, on the keyboard read using the scanner, and you require output to appear like this. So no matter what the word is, it should appear in this kind of word wrap fashion. You got to think about it. Give me another minute, chat away, and then we'll look at it. I do believe there are more here today, no worries. Who's going to admit to being here today and you weren't here yesterday? Show of hands, go on, I like honesty. Who couldn't come yesterday and today? Thank you. Anybody else? I like honesty, it's great. Sure, there are a few more. Guys, you're all here today. I'm so glad. Keep coming. This is important. It's important that you keep coming. Even though sometimes it gets a little dull to the on fest. Trust me. We'll try and keep it as interesting as possible. Anyway. Alright guys. Listen up. A few minutes remaining. Just 5 minutes left. I want to discuss how you might go about this in terms of design. Listen, guys, what I want you to do after this, and please don't just go ignore it to Friday and you tell us how to do it Friday. For your sake, at some stage, sit down with pen and paper and further your ideas that come up today, and try and produce, first of all, what you would deem to be a pseudocode implementation, a pseudocode pen and paper. And then I dare you, have a go at getting an implementation. But first, we'll discuss how we could go about it. And here's the other thing. There are many different ways to design and implement something, all equally valid. Just because you don't have necessarily exactly the same idea in development or design and development doesn't mean you're wrong. There are many different design paths and implementation paths to a good answer. So if we're going to consider this, first of all, you've got to enter a word. If the word's banana, you need to read a string. That's your first thing. You need to say to yourself, I need a prompt followed by reading a string. And then you say, well, let's look at the output. And what we've got here is a breakdown of how the output appears. So it's a very visual specification. You're showing an input and it's related output. What you should do, knowing that consoles are going to print things out line by line, or character by character, and new lines, you've got to break it down, the specification line by line, and say, right, what are we dealing with in each line? So, putting lines between the output that you see here, well, the very first output is the word that you were given. Just print it out. That's easy. So you've got display the word as it is. And by the way, you can use that as pseudocode, display the word as it is. So, anything in green is kind of pseudocode, I feel like. Structured English, or some sort of specification in English for what you want. So the very first line, quite simply, after you've read it, spit it out again. Let's jump to the bottom. What do you notice about the bottom output? It's in reverse. So you say to yourself, well, we need to take that word and put it out in a single line in reverse. Now, at the moment, I'm not considering how we're going to do that. I'm saying what we need. That's what design is. It's a statement of what, not how. What happens a bit in the middle? What about this first letter in this column? What about, if you look at all these columns, all these lines, sorry, you've got A, N, A, N. What do you notice? What you're doing is, if you take a look at the word banana, forgetting about the beginning B and the last A, you've got the letter A, N, A, N in the middle, haven't you? All you're doing is cycling through, not starting at the first, but starting at the second, and printing, certainly for the first letter, those letters in sequence. Is that fair enough? But not including the last one. Isn't that what we're doing? So you would do that. You say, right, okay, can go through, starting at the second letter, maybe using a loop, you'll start to think about repetition, and not printing the last one, just going through that sequence. By the way, for a string in which the word banana is in, what behaviour of string would you use to get access to a single character? Carat, you know how to do that. Carat with some value will give you, carat 0 will give you B, carat 1 will give you the next letter over. The length of the string will determine the loop structure. So all these tools you already have through the behaviour of a string. What about the second column? Well, the hint is here in the letters. Instead of, okay, you've got A followed by N, and then N followed by A. What do you notice? For this column, the letters are starting here and going backwards. Aren't they? It's starting with the second to last letter and going backwards. When you control the loop, can you count up? Yeah, where the index is going up. Can you count down? Yes, you can. There's your hint. I look at my watch. We're just about done. Guys, I want you to try and develop a pseudocode solution for this and have a go at hacking it together into Eclipse. And we'll look at the solution live on Friday. Alright, guys. Have a go. What do we want? I'll see you there. See you Friday. Thank you.